Thank you, Sanjay, for sparing time for this interaction. To start off with, how are you enabling CIOs to move from the traditional client-server IT to a more user-centric IT?
If you look at what we do at the core of our business, right, we are helping our customers and our CIOs to transition from this client-server world to the mobile cloud era. And the way we are enabling this transition is by helping them build a blueprint or an architecture for this future of IT, which is instant, which is fluid, and which is secure. And in this architecture, what we simply call it as one cloud, any app, any device, which means you build an infrastructure which is optimized to deliver any application, be it the legacy app, Windows app, be it a new generation app, which is a cloud SaaS app or a mobile app, and enable the users to access these apps from any devices. Right? So that is how we help our customers and our CIOs to transition from the old world of client server to the mobile cloud era, right? By consuming apps on any device which are delivered from an infrastructure which is optimized to run these apps.
Why and where is the mobility revolution stuck in enterprises?
So when we talk to our customers, there is not a single customer who doubts the promise of business mobility. Everybody believes that it's a necessity, it's an idea that can transform their business, and most of them have started on the journey. We call it as a journey because most of them start with individual productivity needs, which means enabling people to use their own devices, get access to emails. Then they probably go to the next step and offer some collaborative tools. And then they leapfrog and start actually embracing business mobility, which means they start changing their business processes and start putting mobile at the center of their thinking. So whether they are trying to build an application or build a new infrastructure, mobile is at the center of everything, right? So every customer believes in the promise and they are wanting to get there. Now what is stopping them from getting there, I would say, is two things. One is their concerns around security and their concerns around manageability. I would say they have this, in simple words, the fear of unknown. They're just worried that if I let all my employees use the device of their choice, it will improve their vulnerability. It will increase their attack radius. It means they will not know where the threat is coming from. Today they've managed to hold it all together and put security at the perimeter of the data center and all that, and they are able to control that. But their concern is if they open it up, they will be more vulnerable. So security is the number one concern, and that's why it is kind of, I would say, the customers are still evaluating, and once they are convinced with it, then they embrace this solution. The second question is manageability. Today, the traditional ways of managing infrastructure is not designed and optimized to manage the mobile devices. So they are worried that they will have to invest a lot of time, effort in managing these devices, and these users are mobile users. That means they're not going to be in one location, right? So I think our job as a company is to innovate on our product and our platform and convince the customer that how we can give them the power to manage these devices. Doesn't matter what platform these devices are from, they could be heterogeneous devices, and to make sure that these devices are secured, right? And once we are able to convince these customers that we are able to address their concerns of manageability and security, they will take that leap of faith and embrace business mobility in their organization.
So as a vendor, can you allay these fears? As you just said, you can convince the customers that this platform is safe and secure. So can you guarantee the CIOs, enterprise technology decision makers, that security, they can take it for granted?
I would say our ability as a solution provider at VMware, with the help of the technology that we have, which is we are in control of the underlying infrastructure, we have assets like network virtualization, we can leverage all of that to ensure the customer that the environment is going to be 100% secure even after they embrace business mobility. With technologies like network virtualization, when you combine that with our mobile platform, I would say in simple words, you're able to create magic, which means you are able to not only secure the system, but also give control to the CIO and the IT organization to dynamically change the allocation of network and other resources as and when the business needs it. right? So I think our ability to address the security concern is much better than anybody else, because we don't just offer an end user computing platform, okay? We also offer the underlying infrastructure, be it a software defined data center, which includes the compute, the storage virtualization and the network virtualization, but also the management layer, right? So I believe that we have a better chance of addressing the concern of security for our customers than anybody else.
So what is the next phase in the enterprise mobility? Most of the organizations have empowered their sales forces with mobile devices and solutions. Where do you see mobility going from here?
So some industries are very natural to adopt business mobility, be it retail or banking, where the best place to start is to change the customer experience. And we've seen that happening in India and many other markets. Retail industry probably was the first one to embrace that, and we've seen many companies embrace business mobility in the processes of how they're serving the customer. So, and the customer experience is completely transformed, and now the customer has an ability to either make a decision on a product or a service immediately, because all the information is shared with them then and there, right? Same thing in banking or finance. Any touch point that was there with facing the customer, the customers have started to embrace business mobility in those processes, and as a result of that, they are able to bring the service to the customer. The classic example I would say is tab banking, where you are taking the service to the customer either to gather your KYC details or to complete some of the other processes. In a traditional model, the customer had to go to the bank and provide this information. Either it was inconvenient or not accessible and so on and so forth, and now the bank is able to take this service to the customer and able to gather all the details and provide the service. So there are some natural processes and industries where the adoption is going to be faster, and the others will take time. But having said that, we do believe that every single sector will embrace business mobility, given the power it has to impact their business.